One of the greatest rewards for me as a guide, having chosen a life out here in the African wilderness, is to sit outside at night, look up and see pure, unadulterated starlight. As you can imagine, it's a little bit tricky to televise that and share it with you, but as we're standing here right now, we can actually observe a star, the sun, which is obviously the closest star to Earth. I'm not saying look straight up at the sun, please don't do that, you won't see much anyway. But if we look around us, in the form of shadows, we can actually observe our Earth, our planet's interaction with the sun. And we can do that through a very simple demonstration called a shadow stick. I'll show you quickly. So, how a shadow stick works is, most importantly, primarily, it can tell direction. It can help you find north, south, east, west. Very simple. You take a stick straight as possible, plant it in as straight up as possible, and then you wait. But firstly, you'll see a shadow. Stick's throwing a shadow right there, you make a dot. Now, you wait, let's say half an hour, preferably an hour, sit under a tree, stay out of the sun. If you bear grills, eat a lizard. But when you come back, you'll see there's a new shadow. It's going to be slightly shorter because of the Earth approaching the sun now and getting closer to it. You make another dot there. You wait again for an hour, maybe more. You come back, you'll see another shadow. It's going to be almost equal length because it's midday, and you make another dot. And if you have 3 lines, you can already actually connect the 3 dots. You'll see it will make a straight line, and this will give you east, west. Once you have that line, you intersect it by 90 degrees and you have north, south. This could be critical if you're lost somewhere in the bush and you need to find your way back. Secondly, this shadow stick, if you have enough information, can turn into a sundial or a watch. Now, if I say information, you need to know more or less which latitude you are to construct an effective sundial. So what you do is you put your stick up, and then you will have a 180 degree line, because obviously if you're in the southern hemisphere, all of your dials are going to be on the southern side. And if you know which latitude you are, you will work out the separation of the different hours in degrees. Rule of thumb, if you're 50 degrees north or south of the equator, you're going to have about 15 degrees in between your hour dials. So you draw your 12 lines of the hours of the day, and you'll see in the morning as the sun rises, it will then fall on the first hour. In winter it'll be a little bit later. In summer, depending how close you are to the equator, it might be straight on this line. And this is how you can use a stick to tell time. Well, to conclude, another fun fact that you can impart at a dinner party, which will probably never have any practical implication or use, I think, is that you cannot set your watch to a sundial, which is probably counterintuitive to what I just explained with the shadow stick. But the fact is that the Earth is not orbiting the sun in a perfect circle, as many of you might know. That circle, the Earth's orbit, is 5% off a perfect circle. In other words, it's elliptical. The orbit of the Earth around the sun is elliptical. The implication of that is, what we know from planetary movement is, the further an object is away from the source of gravity that keeps it in orbit, the slower it will move. The closer it is to that source of gravity, the faster it will move. And on the extremities, it will repeat. In other words, every second quarter, if you look at a sundial, it is going to move a little bit faster than your watch, because the Earth is at the narrowest point of that ellipse. So it's closer to the sun. The Earth's moving a little bit faster. And then every other quarter, if you look at your watch and the sundial is going to move slower than your watch, because the Earth is at the extremity of the ellipse and moving a little bit slower. Hence, a sundial is not 100% accurate as opposed to an automatic watch. And if you find yourself very confused at this point, my advice would be never to get lost in the bush. Thank you.